Moving into our forever house was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. Quiet cul-de-sac, rolling hills in the distance, and a backyard big enough for our kids to burn off energy. The kind of home you only ever see on those real estate shows. My wife and I had saved for years, every spare dollar tucked away, until at last it was ours. To make a good impression, we even baked cookies for the neighbors. That's when we met her. Karen, head of the HOA, stiff blonde bob, arms glued across her chest, and a tone sharp enough to cut glass. She didn't bother with pleasantries. Marching up our driveway as the movers unloaded boxes, she barked, "You can't just move in without HOA clearance." I blinked. We literally bought the place. Want to see the deed? Her eyes narrowed. Paperwork doesn't prove you belong. You should have checked with me first. My wife and I traded a look. Was this woman serious? Without another word, Karen spun on her heel and stormed off. But in my gut, I knew, we weren't welcome. That night, as we set up the living room, our 13-year-old, Jaden, came downstairs wide-eyed. "Dad, she's outside again, on the phone." I pulled the blinds. Sure enough, there she stood at the curb, waving her arms and glaring at our house. I cracked the window. "They don't have IDs," she hissed. "I don't think they belong here." Then came the words that made my stomach drop. "I'm calling 911. At first, I thought she was bluffing. But Jaden whispered, "Dad, I recorded everything." I turned to him, stunned. "You what?" He nodded, holding up his tablet. "She didn't see me. I got it all." Neither of us knew then, but that recording would change everything. What began as petty harassment was about to explode into a scandal. 15 minutes later, flashing red and blue lights painted our walls. A cruiser crawled down the street like it was hunting fugitives. 2 officers stepped out, cautious, scanning. Karen waved them over as if directing traffic. "That's them," she declared. "I've never seen them before. They refused ID. I think they're squatters." "Ma'am, you said they were trespassing." One officer asked. "Yes," Karen huffed. "They appeared out of nowhere. We have strict HOA rules, they didn't register." By then, I'd already stepped outside with my wife behind me. I raised my hands slightly, just to be safe. "Evening, officers. We're the Thompsons. Closed on this house 3 days ago. I have the paperwork right here." One officer glanced at Karen, then back at me. "Do you have ID and proof of ownership?" "Of course." I pulled out a folder, deed, closing documents, my license, even a new utility bill. Karen folded her arms, scowling. "That proves nothing. People can fake papers." My wife finally snapped. "Karen, do you ever mind your own business?" The officers exchanged uneasy looks. "Ma'am, this looks legitimate. There's no reason to escalate." But Karen wasn't finished. "I don't feel safe. What if they're criminals pretending to be homeowners?" That's when Jaden walked onto the porch, clutching his tablet like evidence in court. His voice was steady. "I recorded her." "Jaden, wait," I started, but he had already pressed play. Suddenly, Karen's own voice blasted into the night. "You can't just move in without HOA approval. I don't care what paperwork they have. I'll call 911 and say they don't belong. That'll get them out." Karen's face went pale. One officer blinked. "Ma'am, did you just admit to making a false report?" I was concerned," she stammered. The second officer shook his head. "This isn't a neighborhood watch. You can't weaponize 911. That's abuse of emergency services." By now, flashing lights had drawn a crowd. Neighbors gathered at the edge of their lawns, phones out, recording everything. The queen of the cul-de-sac was unraveling in real time, and Jaden's clip was now evidence. And it didn't stay on his tablet. Within hours, a neighbor uploaded it to the community Facebook group. Comments poured in. She called the cops because they didn't check in with her. "This is why I avoid HOA meetings." Karen, suddenly sugary sweet, tried to backpedal. "It's a misunderstanding. I was only protecting the neighborhood." But the older officer cut her off. "Ma'am, you misled dispatch. That's serious. At minimum, a civil violation." Then the younger one asked us, "Do you want to press charges?" Caught off guard, I looked at my wife. She shrugged calmly. Jaden stood tall, ready to replay the evidence. I sighed. "We just want to be left alone. But if she pulls this again, absolutely." Karen forced out a brittle laugh. "See, just a mix-up. Now we can move forward." Wrong. The crowd wasn't dispersing. In fact, they stepped closer. "Mrs. Patel spoke first. Karen, you reported my nephew 2 years ago when he parked at my house. Said he looked suspicious. Then Andrew from the corner added, she fined me for Christmas lights. Said it violated HOA rules, it didn't. The floodgates burst. Complaint after complaint rolled out. Petty fines, nasty notes, social media harassment, all tied back to Karen. Her power wasn't slipping, it was collapsing. Someone shouted, you've bullied us for years. Another voice, I move we vote her out. Karen's eyes darted wildly, you can't do that without a meeting. Then we'll hold one tomorrow, a neighbor shot back. She stormed off, fuming. But we all knew it was over. Inside, I high-fived Jaden. Kid, you might have just saved the neighborhood. He grinned. All I did was hit record. 2 days later, the emergency HOA meeting packed the community center. Word had spread, and the viral video even landed on local news under the headline, HOA harassment, power trip or public safety. Karen sat up front, stiff and pale. Her usual smugness was gone. The bylaws were clear. If enough members demanded it, a vote of no confidence triggered new elections. And that was happening tonight. One by one, neighbors spoke. She fined me $50 for tulips not on her list. She told my daughter her dog was too aggressive because it barked once. She banned my garage sale, said it would attract the wrong crowd. Finally, it was my turn. I stepped up with Jaden at my side. We came here for peace. Instead, we got hostility and intimidation. She weaponized fear against a family just trying to unpack. Then I nodded to Jaden. Play it again. His recording echoed through the hall. By the end, people were shaking their heads, some even booing. That was it. The vote was called. The tally, 86 for her removal. 3 against. 2 abstained. Karen shot to her feet, trembling. You'll regret this. I kept order. Someone shouted back. No, you kept control. Thunderous applause filled the room as Karen stormed out. Her reign was finished. For the first time since moving in, I felt real relief. A week later, the new board greeted us with cookies and genuine smiles, the kind not followed by threats. Jaden became a neighborhood legend. Someone even gave him a shirt reading, always recording. We moved in searching for peace. We found a fight instead. But in the end, truth won, and it all started with a 13-year-old and his tablet. If you think Karen got what she deserved, hit that like button. And tell us, what would you do if someone called 911 on your family like this? Drop your answer in the comments, we read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe for more true stories, where the truth always comes out, sometimes from the most unexpected places. New episodes every week. Hit the bell so you never miss one.